The royal ship floated dead in the darkness of space. Its beautiful silver body was torn open like paper. Smoke and broken pieces drifted around it. Inside the ship, emergency lights blinked red. The air was getting thin and cold. Princess pressed her back against the metal wall. She was shaking. Her skin, which normally glowed bright blue like her people, was now very dim. She could barely make light anymore. That meant she was dying. She was only 312 cycles old. For her species, that was like being a teenager. She had never been alone before. She had never been scared like this before. Her guards were all dead. The pirates who attacked the ship had killed everyone except her. She had hidden in a small storage room when the attack started. The pirates searched the ship but did not find her. They took what they wanted and left. Now she was alone. Her emergency beacon was sending signals into space, but she knew no ships were nearby. This part of space was empty and far from home. Nobody would come. Nobody would save her. 3 days passed. Stopped eating on the second day. There was no point. The food would run out anyway. The air would run out first. She sat in the dark and thought about her mother. Empress was strict and cold but missed her. She thought about her home planet with its crystal towers and floating gardens. She would never see it again. On the 4th day, she heard something. A noise, metal touching metal. Another ship was connecting to the... Hearts beat fast, both of them. They had 2 hearts and right now both were pounding with fear. Were the pirates back? Had they realized a princess was hiding on the ship? She pressed herself deeper into the corner and made her skin go completely dark. If she made no light, maybe they would not see her. The door opened. A strange creature stood there. It was short, maybe half the height of an adult. It had soft pink skin with no glow at all, 2 eyes instead of 4. It wore dirty work clothes and held a flashlight. It was a human. Had learned about humans in her studies. They were a new species in the galaxy. They had only been traveling through space for a few hundred years. They were primitive. They were dangerous. Her teachers said humans were violent and unpredictable. They lived very short lives, less than 100 cycles, and this made them reckless. The human pointed his flashlight around the room. The beam found in the corner. "Hey," the human said. His voice was soft. "Hey, it's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." Did not move. She did not trust him. The human took a step closer and then stopped. He held up his hands to show he had no weapon. "I picked up your distress signal. I'm here to help. Can you understand me?" The translator device in his ear worked slowly. Human language was strange, but she understood most of it. She still did not speak. The human looked at her for a long moment. Then he did something strange. He sat down on the floor. He made himself small and non-threatening. He put the flashlight down so it was not pointing at her face. "My name is," he said. "I have a ship. It's small and not very nice, but it has food and air and heat. You look like you need those things." His dim glow flickered. She was so weak, so tired, so cold. "I don't want anything from you," continued. "I just want to help, that's all, I promise." Did not understand this. In her world, nobody helped without wanting something in return. Everything was a trade, everything had a price. This human must want something. Money, power, a favor from the Empire. But she was dying, she had no choice. Slowly she let her skin glow a little brighter, just enough for him to see her properly. Eyes went wide. She knew she must look terrible. Her glow was uneven and weak. Her crystalline features were dull. "Okay," said gently. "Okay, let's get you out of here. Can you walk?" Tried to stand. Her legs shook and she fell. Before she hit the ground, caught her. His hands were warm, so warm. Humans had such high body heat. He lifted her carefully. She was taller than him, but her body was light. They had hollow bones like birds. "I've got you," he said. "You're safe now." He carried her through the broken hallways of saw the bodies of her guards as they passed. She closed her eyes, walked faster, trying to get her away from the terrible sight. His ship was small and ugly. It was called the Persistent. The walls were metal with no decoration. The floors were worn. It smelled like engine oil and old food. It was the most beautiful thing had ever seen. Put her on a bed in a small room. He covered her with a thick blanket. Then he ran to get water and food. "I don't know what your species eats," he admitted, coming back with his arms full of supplies. "But let's try some things and see what works." Looked up at this strange little creature, this human who had come out of nowhere to save her. She still did not trust him completely. But for the first time in 4 days, she felt something other than fear. She felt hope. "Thank you," she whispered. The words came out broken through the translator. Smiled at her. It was a warm smile that made lines appear around his eyes. "Rest now," he said. "We have a long journey ahead." Did not sleep for 3 days. He sat next to the bed where lay. He watched the strange patterns on her skin. He checked her breathing. He read everything his ship's computer had about the species. It was not much. They were powerful and kept secrets, but he learned enough to know she was very sick. Her species needed special light to survive. They also needed minerals that humans did not eat. Did not have these things on his ship. He was a cargo hauler, not a doctor. He carried machine parts and food supplies between planets. He had basic medicine for humans, nothing more. But was a problem solver. His grandmother had taught him that. She always said that when you cannot find the right tool, you make one. When you cannot find the right path, you build one. He remembered his grandmother often these days. She had died 2 years ago. Sometimes he still talked to her in his head, asking her what she would do. She would tell him to stop complaining and start working. So he worked. He changed the lights in the small room to make them bluer. He did not know if it would help, but skin seemed to glow a little brighter after. He searched his cargo and found some mineral supplements meant for farming. He mixed them with water and slowly fed them to her. On the 4th day, opened her eyes. "Where am I?" she asked. "On my ship," said. He looked tired. His eyes were red and his hair was messy. "We're heading to space. It will take about 2 weeks." Sat up slowly. She felt weak but alive. She looked at the human and saw the dark circles under his eyes, the empty food wrappers around his chair, the blanket that should have been on his bed but was wrapped around her instead. "You have not slept," she said. "I'm fine." "You are lying. I can see your energy. It is very low." Shrugged. "You were really sick. I didn't want to leave you alone." Did not know what to say to this. She studied him with all 4 of her eyes. He was strange looking, only 1 pair of eyes, flat teeth, soft skin that showed every feeling on his face. Right now his face showed tiredness and worry. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. "Doing what?" "Helping me. You do not know me. You do not know my people. We have never done anything for humans." Rubbed his eyes. He thought about the question. "You needed help. I was there. That's really all there is to it." "That makes no sense. There must be something you want." "Not really." Made a frustrated sound. This human was impossible to understand. Over the next few days, she grew stronger. Gave her his room and slept on the floor in the cargo area. He gave her the better food and ate plain rice for himself. He never complained about any of it. Started following him around the ship. She watched him work. She watched him fix broken things and check the engines and plot their course through space. She asked him questions. "Tell me about your planet," she said one day. Smiled. He liked talking about Earth. He told her about the oceans, so big you could not see the other side. He told her about mountains covered in snow. He told her about rain and wind and seasons that changed. "It sounds chaotic," said. "It is. That's what makes it beautiful." He told her about his grandmother, how she raised him alone after his parents died, how she taught him to fish and to cook and to fix things, how she survived a terrible war when she was young and never let it make her bitter. "She sounds strong," said. "She was the strongest person I ever knew, and the kindest. What is kindness? Looks surprised. You don't have a word for it. I do not know this word. My translator cannot find a match. Thought about how to explain. Kindness is when you do good things for other people without wanting something back, when you help because it is right, not because it is useful, when you care about someone else's feelings. Was quiet for a long time. We do not have this concept. In my culture, everything is exchange. You give something, you get something. Nothing is free. That sounds lonely. It is efficient. Shook his head. I don't think efficiency is everything. That night played music for her. Human music. Songs with strange rhythms and words in languages she did not know. One song made her feel sad. Another made her want to move her body. She did not understand why these sounds created feelings. Music is how humans share emotions, explained. Sometimes we feel things too big for words, so we use music instead. Listen to more songs. A woman singing about lost love, a man singing about going home, children singing about happiness. Each song was different, but they all had one thing in common. They were honest. They were real. Your species is very strange, said. Laughed. It was a good sound, warm and real like his music. Thanks, he said, I think. On the last night before they reached space, could not sleep. She found sitting in the cockpit, looking at the stars. Are you afraid? She asked. My people are not welcoming to outsiders. A little, he admitted, but I'll be okay. You saved my life. I will protect you. Turned to look at her. In the starlight, his face was soft and kind. You don't have to do that, he said. I didn't save you to get protection. I saved you because it was the right thing to do. Sat down next to him. She looked at the stars. Somewhere out there was her home, her mother, her entire world. She had left that world thinking she understood how the universe worked. Now she was not so sure. This human had shown her something new, something she had never seen before. Perhaps kindness was not weakness. Perhaps it was something else entirely. Something powerful. It was called. It was the most beautiful planet had ever seen. Crystal towers rose from the surface like frozen flames. Gardens floated in the air, held up by technology humans could not understand. The whole planet seemed to glow with soft blue and purple light. Even from space, could see that this was a world of wonder. His little ship looked like a dirty rock next to a diamond. Your world is amazing, he said quietly. Stood beside him, watching her home grow larger in the window. Her skin glowed bright now, brighter than he had ever seen it. She was happy to be home, but she was also worried. My mother will not understand you, she said. She will think you want something. She always thinks everyone wants something. I'll explain. It will not be easy. She is, paused, looking for the right word, difficult. Before could answer, a voice came through the ship's radio. It was cold and formal. Unknown human vessel, you are entering restricted space. State your purpose or be destroyed. Looked at, she stepped forward and pressed the communication button. This is Princess of the Royal House. I am returning home. This human ship saved my life. You will allow us to pass. There was silence for a long moment, then many voices at once, then more silence. Princess, we thought you were dead. Your ship was found destroyed. I survived, now let us through. The voices argued with each other, could not understand most of it. His translator was not good enough for rapid speech, but he understood enough to know they were scared and confused. Finally, they were given permission to land. As they descended through the clouds, saw ships rising to meet them. Not small ships, warships, giant vessels covered in weapons, glowing with power. They surrounded the persistent like wolves around a rabbit. They are being careful, said. They look like they want to blow us up. That too. They landed on a platform made of pure crystal. It was so clear that could see through it to the city below. He felt dizzy looking down. He quickly looked up instead. Soldiers waited for them, hundreds of soldiers in glowing armor. They held weapons that hummed with energy. Behind them stood officials in fancy robes. Behind them were floating cameras, recording everything. The door of the Persistent opened, walked out first, standing tall and proud. Her glow was bright and strong. She looked every bit the princess she was. Followed her. He felt very small and very plain in his old work clothes. Every eye turned to him. Every weapon pointed at him. "Stand down," commanded. Her voice was different now, harder, more powerful. "This man is my guest. You will treat him with respect." The soldiers looked at each other. They did not lower their weapons. An official stepped forward. He was tall even for with 4 eyes that looked at like he was an insect. "Princess, this is irregular. Humans are not permitted in the inner sanctum. The Empress has made no exception." "Then she will make one now. This human saved my life. Without him I would be dead in space. He will come with me to see my mother." "Princess, the protocols." "I do not care about protocols." His glow flared brighter. Several soldiers stepped back. "He comes with me, that is final." Watched this small alien girl face down an army. She had seemed so scared and weak on his ship. Now she was fire and steel. He realized he had only seen a small part of who she really was. The official looked unhappy, but he bowed. "As you wish, princess, follow me." They walked through the crystal city. Everything was beautiful and cold. The buildings were perfect. The streets were clean. The people all moved with purpose, never stopping to talk or laugh or play. Thought about his grandmother's village, the messy streets and loud markets, children running everywhere, old men playing games in the shade. It was not perfect or clean, but it was alive. This place felt like a museum, beautiful to look at but not a place to live. They entered a massive building. The doors were so big that his entire ship could fly through them. Inside, crystal columns rose to a ceiling so high it disappeared in mist. Light came from everywhere and nowhere. At the far end of the great hall was a throne. On the throne sat the Empress. She was enormous, 3 meters tall, maybe more. Her skin glowed with so much light that had to look away at first. She had 4 eyes but colder, sharper. Eyes that had seen 10,000 years of history. Eyes that were now looking directly at him. Felt fear like he had never felt before. This was not a person. This was a force of nature. This was something ancient and powerful beyond his understanding. Walked forward, made himself follow her. His legs felt weak. The Empress descended from her throne. Each step made the crystal floor ring like a bell. She stopped in front of them. She looked at her daughter for a long moment and saw something flash across her face. Relief. Love. It was gone in an instant, but he saw it. Then she looked at him. "So," the Empress said. Her voice filled the entire hall. "This is the human who found my daughter." Opened his mouth. No words came out. He closed it again. Stepped forward. Her glow was bright with emotion. "He rescued me, Mother. He found me dying in the wreckage. He saved my life. He asked for nothing in return, nothing at all." The Empress studied with all 4 eyes. He felt like she was looking into his soul, reading his thoughts, judging everything he had ever done. "Nothing," she said slowly. "We shall see about that." The throne room was silent. Everyone was watching. Ambassadors from 100 different worlds sat in galleries high above, looking down at the small human standing before the most powerful being in this part of the galaxy. Felt sweat running down his back. The Empress had not moved. She just stood there looking at him, waiting. "Human," she finally said, "you have returned my daughter to me. This is not a small thing. The Empire pays its debts. Name your price." Blinked. "My price." "Your reward, what do you want?" The Empress made a gesture with her long fingers. "Wealth, we have more than you can imagine. Territory, we can give you a moon, a planet, a system. Power, I can make you important among your own kind." The court murmured. These were generous offers, more than any human had ever been offered before. "I don't want anything," said. The murmuring stopped. Everyone stared at him. "Excuse me." The Empress's voice became cold. "I mean," struggled to find the right words. "She was hurt. She was dying. I helped. That's just what you do. I don't need a reward for that." "All beings want something." "Not for this. Not for helping someone who needs help." The Empress moved closer. She was so tall that had to look straight up to see her face. Her 4 eyes glowed with intensity. "You are lying, or you are playing a game I do not understand. No one does something for nothing. In all my years I have never seen it. There is always a hidden motive, always a secret desire." "There's no secret," said. He was tired of being afraid. If she was going to kill him, she would kill him. He could not change who he was. "Where I come from, my grandmother taught me that you help people because it is right, not because you get paid, not because they can help you back, just because it is the right thing to do." "Your grandmother." "She raised me. She survived a war. She lost everything twice, and she still helped anyone who needed it. She fed hungry neighbors even when she was hungry herself. She took care of sick people even when she was tired." His voice grew stronger as he spoke about her. "She said that being kind does not cost money. It only costs a little piece of your time and your heart, and you always have enough of those to share." The Empress was silent. Stepped forward. "Mother, I spent 2 weeks with him. He gave me his food and ate plain rice. He gave me his bed and slept on the floor. He stayed awake for 3 days watching over me. He never asked for anything, not once." "Perhaps he is simply stupid," someone in the court muttered. Heard it, his translator picked up the words. He should have been angry, but he just felt tired. "Maybe I am stupid," he said loudly. The court went quiet again. "Maybe it is stupid to help people without thinking about what you will get. Maybe it is stupid to care about strangers. But my grandmother was the person I ever knew, and she was the kindest person too. So if kindness is stupid, then I do not want to be smart." The Empress studied him for a long, long moment. The crystal walls of the throne room pulsed with colors that could not read. Blue, purple, gold. The Empress's emotions, he realized, shone through the living building. "You speak of kindness," she said slowly. "My daughter used this word too. She said you taught it to her. We have no such word in language. The closest translation would be weakness that helps others before helping yourself." "It is not weakness," said firmly. "It takes strength to be kind. It is easy to be selfish. It is easy to think only about yourself. It is hard to see someone suffering and choose to help even when it costs you something." "And what did it cost you to save my daughter?" "Thought about it. Time, fuel, food, sleep, some worry," he shrugged. "Nothing important." "Your fuel and food are your survival." "There is always more fuel. There is always more food, but there is only one." He looked at and won her. "She is more important than my supplies." The Empress turned to look at her daughter. Skin was glowing bright pink. Did not know what that color meant, but the Empress seemed to understand. Something passed between mother and daughter, some silent communication. The Empress turned back to, "I have ruled this empire for 10,000 cycles," she said. "I have seen species rise and fall. I have watched civilizations build wonders and destroy themselves. I have met billions of beings from across the galaxy." She paused. "I have never met anyone like you." She raised her hand. The court held its breath, prepared for anything. "You will stay as a guest of the empire," the Empress announced. "You will be given quarters in the diplomatic wing. You will be treated with respect." The court erupted in whispers. And the Empress continued, her voice cutting through the noise. "I will learn more about this word, this kindness. I wish to understand it, to understand how a species so young and so small can carry something so unusual inside them." She looked at one more time. Her expression was unreadable. "You may be a fool, human, or you may be something new. I will discover which." She turned and walked back to her throne. The audience was over. Grab's arm. She was shaking, but her glow was bright and happy. "You did it," she whispered. "You actually did it." Did not feel like he had done anything. He had just told the truth. He had just been himself. But as guards led him away to his new quarters, he wondered if maybe that was enough. Maybe being yourself was the hardest and most powerful thing anyone could do. His grandmother would have been proud. Stayed on for 3 weeks. His quarters in the diplomatic wing were bigger than his entire ship. The bed was soft and shaped perfectly to his body. The food was strange but delicious. Servants came every day to clean and bring fresh clothes. He hated it. Everything was too quiet, too perfect, too empty. He missed the hum of his ship's engine. He missed the smell of oil and instant noodles. He missed having something to fix. So he started exploring. The servants tried to stop him at first. A human walking alone through the Crystal City was unusual. Dangerous, they said. People might react badly. But smiled at them and walked away anyway. He had survived pirates, near starvation, and a meeting with the Empress. He could handle a walk. The people stared at him wherever he went. They whispered behind their hands. Their skin flickered with colors that his translator could not explain. Some looked curious. Some looked disgusted. A few looked afraid. Just smiled and kept walking. He found the servant areas on the 3rd day. They were hidden below the beautiful crystal towers. The halls were narrower here. The lights were dimmer. The people worked hard and spoke quietly. A young was struggling to carry a heavy box. Without thinking, walked over and lifted the other end. "Let me help," he said. The young stared at him with all 4 eyes wide open. You are the human, the one who saved the princess." What's your name?" I am called Bora." "Nice to meet you, Bora. Where does this box go?" They carried the box together. Other servants stopped to watch. A human carrying boxes like a worker. It was unheard of. It was impossible. Yet there he was, smiling and chatting like it was the most normal thing in the world. Word spread quickly. The human says thank you when you bring his food. The human asks servants about their families. The human carried boxes in the lower halls. The human does not act like he is better than anyone. Found him in the gardens one evening. He was sitting on a bench, watching the floating flowers drift by. "You are confusing everyone," she said, sitting down next to him. "Good, maybe they need to be confused. My mother has received 17 reports about you. Nobles are worried. They think you are planning something, building secret alliances with the servant class." Laughed. "I was just helping someone carry a box." That is what confuses them. Skin glowed soft pink. In our society, a person of status never helps someone lower. It would be embarrassing, shameful. That's sad. You say that word a lot, sad. Because a lot of things here make me sad. Looked at her. Your world is beautiful, but the people seem lonely. Everyone is so careful, so formal. Nobody laughs. Nobody plays. Nobody helps each other without keeping score. Was quiet for a moment. I never noticed it before, but now, after meeting you, I see it too. She reached into her robe and pulled out a small device. I have been studying, learning about your planet, about humans. What did you learn? I learned that you fight wars against each other, terrible wars. Millions die. Nodded slowly. That is true. But I also learned that after wars, you help each other rebuild. Your enemies become your friends. You send food to people who were trying to kill you just years before. Also true. I do not understand this. How can you hate someone enough to kill them and then love them enough to feed them? Thought about his grandmother, about the war she survived, about the soldiers from the other side who later helped rebuild her village. I think, he said slowly, that humans know we are not perfect. We know we make mistakes. We do terrible things to each other. but we also know that we can change, that enemies can become friends, that the future does not have to be like the past. That seems hopeful. My grandmother used to say that hope is the most human thing there is. Animals do not hope, they just survive. But humans, we dream, we imagine better futures, and sometimes we build them. His glow shifted through several colors, was starting to learn what some of them meant. This combination was new. He thought it might be wonder. I want to learn more, she said. About kindness, about hope, about humans, will you teach me? Smiled, I am not a very good teacher, but I can try. On his last day on, the Empress summoned him again. This time the throne room was empty. No ambassadors, no officials, no guards, just the ancient ruler and the young human standing alone in a cathedral of light. I have studied you, the Empress said. I have read every report. I have watched recordings of your actions. I have tried to find the trick, the hidden plan. There is no trick. I know, she sounded almost annoyed. That is what makes you so frustrating. She descended from her throne and stood before him. This close could see the weight of ages in her eyes, the tiredness that even 10,000 years of power could not erase. My empire is old, she said quietly. We have built wonders. We have conquered enemies. We have created art and science and technology beyond human imagination, but we have never created kindness. We have never learned to help without expecting return. It is never too late to learn. The Empress made a sound that might have been a laugh. You are either the bravest or the most foolish creature I have ever met. Probably both. For the first time, the Empress smiled. It was a small smile, barely visible, but it was real. Go home of Earth. When you arrive, you will find that I have opened diplomatic relations with your people. The first major alliance humanity has received since joining the galactic community. His eyes went wide. That is huge. It is a beginning. I want to understand your people better. I want to learn how beings who live such short lives can still find time for kindness. Perhaps, she paused, perhaps we can learn from each other. Bowed, not knowing what else to do, the Empress nodded in return. As he walked to his ship, ran to catch him. I will miss you, she said. Her glow was blue and purple, colors of sadness and affection mixed together. I will miss you too. Will you come back? If I am welcome. You will always be welcome. She pressed something into his hand, a small crystal that glowed with her light, so you do not forget. Held the crystal gently. I could never forget. He climbed into his ship. The engines hummed to life. The ugly little freighter rose from the crystal platform and pointed toward the stars. As he jumped to faster-than-light speed, a message appeared on his screen. From. Thank you for teaching me a new word. I will teach it to my mother. I will teach it to my people. And maybe, someday, kindness will spread across the galaxy, all because one small human stopped to help a stranger. Smiled and set course for Earth. He thought about his grandmother, about everything she taught him, about kindness and hope and the power of simple goodness. She would probably say something like, "Good work, now come home and help me hang the laundry." Some things, he thought, stay the same no matter where you go in the universe. And maybe that was okay. Maybe that was exactly how it should be.